Hello and welcome back to Intentional Living. I am Emma, and today we're going to be speaking about budgeting and the 4 types of budgets and budgeting styles that I am familiar with. There are a little bit over 4 budgeting ways, and many other people use whatever it is they feel comfortable with. First up, I want us to talk about the zero-based budget. Now, in any budget, you have to figure out your expenses, right? Your expenses and your income and what you remain with. Now, this is all it takes to really start a budget. With a zero-based budget, your income is directly equivalent to your expenses. So let's say you earn 100 Rand, right? So your income will be 100 and your expenses, typing, oh my God, expenses will be also 100. So at the end of the day, you have 0, right? Let's say it's month end and your 100 Rand comes in, you take out your rent, that's your 20 Rand for rent, and then food or groceries, that's 15 Rand. Let's see. Then minus 15 Rand, you're left with 65 Rand. Say electricity, another 15 Rand, and water for 10 Rand, transport for 15 Rand, because that's another huge expense that we have in this country. Minus 10, minus 15, so you have 25. What else do normally people spend on? Then you have your debt, it's exactly equal to your rent. And then for your 5 Rand, you say outings are 5. At the end of the day, you have 100 Rand. These are your expenses. And your income. So this is what we mean by a zero-based budget. It means you know exactly how much you're getting and your expenses are exactly as much as you are getting. This is very good because it makes it easy for you to estimate how much you're going to need to spend and how much you are getting. It's a very simple method. However, it is also very dangerous. You cannot have any accidents here. If transport goes up just by 1 Rand, already you are out of budget. If your electricity, for whatever reason this month you use a little bit more, you are already out of budget. There is no room for mistakes. There's no room to breathe after all your expenses are done, and you definitely have no room for expenses or emergencies unless one of your expenses is already for your possible emergencies. Now, the second one is the pay yourself first. This one, it sounds nice, right? You pay yourself first. As soon as your income comes in, let's say your 100 Rand comes in, you say, okay, my 100 Rand, I'm going to take 30 Rand for savings, and then 10 Rand for debts, and then the 60 Rand, you just do whatever you want with it, you know. You only live once, they say. So that is what a pay yourself budget would most likely look like, depending on how much you're getting and who you are and what you're spending on, right? As soon as the most important parts are out, so perhaps your debts already include your rent or whatever, your basics are already out. The rest you spend however. Whether you buy food or you end up not buying food, it really does not matter. You know that your debts are covered, your rent is covered, your water and lights are covered, and your savings are covered. So the rest you can do with whatever you please. Right. And then the one that most people are doing right now is the envelopes. Now, envelope budgeting is good, but it's very similar to the zero-based budget in a slight way. Say your income is 100 Rand, right? Your expenses. Now, your expense categories each have an envelope, right? So you have your envelopes. You say savings. You have your 10 Rand for savings. And then you have your 20 Rand for rent. And then, what else? Let's see. Groceries. You have maybe another 20 Rand there for groceries. And then you have your outings. You have 10 Rand for outings. And then you have, what have we not done? You have your debts. We all have some kind of debt or another. Oh, wow. And then from there, maybe you have your transport. Let's say another 15, so that I don't go very wrong here. That means you have 10 Rand left. So let's say miscellaneous. You have a 10 Rand for miscellaneous. Each envelope is budgeted exactly as you're supposed to spend. So if you spend too much here with your outings, it means you're going to have to touch into one of these envelopes. But the method is to be disciplined enough to not touch the other envelopes. So if you spend here 9.99 Rand and you have your 1 cent left, and there's something else that you really want to do, you want to go out and do something, you need to be disciplined enough to not touch the other envelopes. Because maybe when you went grocery shopping, you came back with 5 Rand change, right? That change is for groceries. Whatever happens that month, that money is for the groceries, and it stays in the groceries envelope. You can't use it for other things unless for some reason you find you want to use it. But that's also a choice, because discipline is a choice that you have to make on a daily basis. So the minute you do it once, you will do it again another time. You might end up doing it with your rent or your electricity or your transport, and that will mess up your budget very much. So with the envelopes method, it is to be as disciplined as you can be so that you do not spend whatever the other envelope has, right? And then you have a 50, 30, 20 budget, right? Mine is a personalized format of this. So with this one, your 100 Rand, when it comes in, your 50 Rand is for your needs. You know, needs are things that are necessary. Yes, telecom is necessary, Wi-Fi is necessary. And then you have your 30% for your wants, which will be 30 Rand on this, right? Wants, you can call it a discretionary fund, if you will, but wants are things you can live without. You want them, but you can really live without them. Like chocolate. You can live without chocolate, but you really want to buy a chocolate. So that is what the wants are for. And then you have your 20 Rand for your savings and payments, ne? Yeah. Because savings and payments are part of the things that you must forever do. So it's like your debts, your emergency fund. I can't spell emergency. Wow, emergency. Oh, I can't finish emergency. Okay, your emergency fund, your other savings, your retirement, all those things come here. So 50% of your income is for your needs, your rent, your whatevers, all those basic needs that you cannot for any reason get through the month without. And then secondary would be your wants, which are the things you can live without but you really want to have. And then lastly, your savings, your debts, your emergencies, all of that is down here with your 20%. So now for me, my personal one, I chose to take it from the 50-30, and I did 65 and 20 and 15. So instead of the usual 30 towards the wants, I put 15 and took the other 15 and added it to my needs. Because at the current moment, I'm in a place where I'm still building some things. So once everything is complete the way I want it to be, I think maybe my wants will go back up. So for example, my needs cover things like my medical, it covers groceries. Did you know, I just understood the other day when I was unpacking my groceries that all this time I've been counting my snacks as part of my groceries, and my snacks are actually here. They are part of my luxuries, you know. So things like your snacks should be in your luxuries, your TV subscriptions, your Spotify, Apple Music, you know, Roblox, all those things, they're luxuries. You really can do without them. They are not that necessary. Going out and what, you can cook a meal at home and eat it outside. It's the equivalent of eating out in the literal form. But, you know, we like the views and we like being waited on. So yes, it's here. It's all your luxuries, all the luxurious life. And up here, you have your rent. All the important things are here. And then here is your savings, your retirement, your emergency. So basically this is my main method. And then I use envelope challenges to build up other funds. So for me, the envelopes are not my main budgeting method. They are a secondary way of saving money. So more or less, it's somewhere here. It's just not used by the money that I initially divide my budget into. My envelopes are whatever I have left from these other categories. And then I start stuffing my envelopes with that. Whatever my side hustle brings in, I stuff my envelopes with that. So whatever money that is extra on top of what I need to spend or what is change from what I have spent goes into my envelopes. I hope this is helpful. Feel free to ask any questions if you have. I'll gladly answer. And remember, I am sharing as much as I know. There are things that I do not know. And if you do know something that I do not know, kindly set something in the comments. Let us discuss and learn from each other and grow together. Thank you very much for your time. See you in the next video.